Hello, everyone. Is anyone here? There's no one in the chat. Everyone say hi if you're in the chat. I was going to do a morning update video for everyone today, but I guess, yeah, it's probably better that we cover this live rather than having to, yeah, do this as a video. So, how is everyone doing this morning? Let's get a quick show of hands. Let's make sure there are some people in here, and then I will continue. And of course, smash up the likes whilst you're here. Cool, cool. We have some people in here. It is early in the USA, yes. French Bull's here, awesome. Yes, French Bull has been smashing it recently. He has been preparing everyone very well for this drop. And yeah, let's see what we can get. When long 10k maybe. Cool. All right, let's have a look at this. Monthly NPOC on Bybit has been hit. Okay, so this is, I guess, it's one exchange. Okay, and so far it hasn't really given us much of a reaction. I was looking over on. So if we do just go over onto here and just looking at what Bybit are doing here, it doesn't really seem to be that they're that interested in it. So we know that the NPOC is here. However, we do have to be aware that on Binance, on FTX, these are much lower down. So yeah, I think today we'll just follow this. Okay, I'm going to go over. We'll wait to see if this does start to get a bounce, and then we can start to look at what I am looking at and what I'm looking to trade. I am willing to take a long position. I did try a little scalp long earlier. It was just quickly in and out, but yeah, it's just looking too heavy this morning. So let's see, let's see, shall we? So yeah, I'm willing to look for long positions because we have hit a local support, at least for a temporary kind of bounce, maybe going into the New York session a little bit later on this afternoon. But yeah, still not really confident in that yet. So here's the big level that we're talking about. Okay, this is the monthly NPOC. So we do have this down here. Now this is one exchange. Okay, so don't take this for granted at all. There is volume here, there is interest here, but it is one exchange. If we do go over onto FTX, okay, it is significantly lower and there is basically no volume within this area. Okay, so if we go down to FTX, we're looking really at about 31,800 and lower. If we do go on to, sorry, I'm just going to have to mute just a minute because I am being interrupted. Hold on. Oh, I'm back. All right. Cool. All right. Where were we? Where were we? Okay. Yeah, so we do have quite significant, like, it is looking a lot lower if we do continue this down on Bitcoin, and we are still breaking down. Okay, so let's just cover this. We are still breaking down quite heavily. All right, let's take a look at our, whoops. Cool. So yeah, we do have, this is the thing, we've got quite aggressive shorting going on here, and this is on Bybit and this is across all the exchanges. So we do see a real big increase in net shorts and basically more long positions being stopped out. So anyone who had opened long during the weekend, it is yeah, very much kind of being stopped out, and not looking too good. Not looking too good. So we will continue to monitor this and just watch this as it comes down. So we do have the FTX volume coming in down here on FTX, and we do have, if we go over onto Binance, of course, that one. Let's zoom out. We do have this MPOC here on Binance. And this one is coming in around about that 32,600 region. Okay. Michael VD, also daily MPOC at 32,375 and one-to-one from April low to June low to previous all-time high. Okay, yes. So there is other. So we could be looking at this as some kind of like massive channel, the one-to-one coming in around these areas soon. So we do have support, but again, it's what I was saying last week. It's you've got to wait for a reaction somewhere. As of yet, we've not seen any kind of capitulation or any bounce. There has just not been a bounce. There hasn't been any interest in anything yet. So for me to look for a long position is just like, you may as well wait for a sign of strength right now, because at the moment there has been nothing, like at all. There really hasn't been anything. You come up into this, you hit into a daily level, a very, very basic level. You open your week then, and it's just been straight down. So really about as bearish as you can possibly get to start the week. However, long positions would be what you would be searching for, but it's just not ready for that yet, in my opinion. So let's just see if we can start to reclaim some levels. If we can now reclaim well, 34k, that starts to look a little bit more, not healthy, but I mean, at least then we can start to be looking back at where the point of control is at this range, and possibly a little bounce before further downside again on here. The other major thing I did want to mention, and this is why I do think we could be reaching a low fairly soon. Okay, now not straight away, but fairly soon. Okay, we are starting to get this divergence. Okay, so I've put this onto a line chart just to make it a bit clearer. But if we can start to pull in these divergences on the RSI and the MACD and other things as well, so the oscillators start to give these divergences. This is why I was looking for some 4-hour closes below 34k. That would start to give me confidence in possibly starting to build a position, like a bit more of a swing position, to see if we can get more of a larger bounce coming from this, because I do like the 4-hour divergences. I do like just how absolutely insane this was on the oscillators the other day, just going into kind of the depths of which you very, very rarely see on RSI, on MACD, and all of those kind of things. So crazy kind of massive move down is going to cause these oscillators to go a bit mad, and now we're starting to possibly build these divergences around these areas. But you never know, we could end up doing something like this. We could come down again, and then we could start to build this kind of divergence that does something a little bit like this. Or on the oscillators, we do something a little bit like this. We could have those coming through, and then we can start to look at a reversal. So certainly not an indication of where price might be going, but it is an indication of, okay, that we are approaching that point in which the higher time frames start to give us maybe a bit of confidence just to start getting back into a position. But whew, not looking too healthy. So I am now watching So 32,550. Let's say 32. Well, it's 32,575, isn't it? If we want to be exact, I like to use 50 tick on this. So 32,575, 50 tick. Did I say 30 tick? 50 tick. And then we have FTX just below it. Okay. So a little bit of a bounce going on here, but again, is it gonna be anything significant, or are we just looking at once again a small kind of little relief back into, look, we've got volume here, so let's go down onto the lower time frames. To get back above this cluster of volume, maybe we could see a bounce back up to 34,500, in which point 34k would be very interesting. And that could be the sign of strength that I'm looking for to try and get into a position. So, yeah, let's see. If this does reclaim, VWAP starts to hold around here, possibly looking back up towards kind of taking this up a little bit higher into the range, but you've still got so much resistance. Short positions definitely if we do come back up here. So I am looking for shorts if we do come into VWAP. I am looking for shorts if we do come back up into, yeah, actually the VWAP looks good. You've got value area low of the range up here. So that 34.5 to 34.600 region for a short. Let's have a look in the chat. We've got 93 viewers here and only 22 likes. So let's get this up to 50 likes. That'd be great. I know it is very early in the morning, but let's get it up to, yeah, 50 likes. Well, it's not early in the morning for us, but it is for a lot of people. Take a look down at these lows. So if we do start to see this market buying coming in, chat's just very, very quiet. So yeah, you can see this little bit of a change of behavior now, okay? So as price was coming down, we could see really, really heavy negative delta coming all the way down, all the way down. You see all this selling. We've definitely seen that change of behavior right now. And if this can get that continuation, then yes, I am looking up towards VWAP. And then it does become important to be holding around basically, yeah, kind of where we are now, this 34k area. So initial resistance looking at 34k, we're basically right there. So let's see if the buying can continue into that. If we do get higher, VWAP, and then looking for a move back into this region afterwards. Cool. What do we also have within here? We look at this. Okay, we do have golden pocket region coming in down here. If we take it from our range, our local golden pocket is coming in right at that POC. So we do have our point of control. So levels of resistance back above are 35,200, 35,250. So that would be an interesting area. Bitstamp wick. Let's have a look. Do I have a Bitstamp chart on here? Whoa, okay. Someone has bought something at Bitstamp. Wow. That's interesting. Shame we don't have that on here. What do you think the price when US stock opens? See, I do think, and this is what we have been looking for. Like we didn't obviously didn't see quite that exact low that came down here. I mean, we've still got support lower, but after seeing that change of behavior and that reaction, I do think we're going to maintain this region. We are coming back into the range, so I do think we continue this range. Possibly, that's looking at least a session low, and then we can come back down and see if we can take that around New York. Um, there's certainly a change of behavior here, so we do see quite significant buying coming in, and that is continuing. So if we do look on here, we've yeah, we're getting a lot. Like this is the first time we've seen any real buying at market since, like, you're getting consistently around 15 million. Yeah, it's quite a lot of buying coming in now. Does is Bitstamp on here? I never use Bitstamp, but actually you can probably have a look at it on here and just see if I do put the footprint on. 34 Bitcoin bought, plus some 5, 6, another 20. So it looks like about 100 Bitcoin was bought on Bitstamp. That looks like what created that wick. And obviously you're on a exchange with very low liquidity. But yeah, it's around about that 100 Bitcoin mark probably bought, and then this is all slippage. So, I mean, they got filled wherever it could get filled. You can see where there's limit orders here and where they were able to get um, some Bitcoin bought there. So let me just move that back down. Yeah, so I'd say about 100 Bitcoin bought on Bitstamp, which is what caused that massive wick. It's kind of significant, right? Whoop. So let's zoom back out, look at the range. And yeah, well, we did have that support earlier, so around that 33,700 and just kind of below region. Now, if we are going to get this to continue higher, I'd like to see this area hold. Um, Sarah H. Hi Luke, I opened a scalp long as well, but wasn't sure about my invalidation. When is a scalp for you invalidated? When the support is not clear? I mean, yeah, if it's a scalp long, um, I mean, if it doesn't kind of immediately go the way I want it to, then I'll just close out of it quite quickly and I'll just look for the next opportunity. I'm not entirely sure where you did take that as a trade, but if it was down at the lows, then yeah, I mean, we were seeing that kind of stalling of price action down around these lows and a nice bounce up of that. For now, obviously, your invalidation is going to be at these lows. I'd say you've hit a really, you probably should have been taking profit fairly quickly as soon as it came back above this liquidity here, and as long as you're holding above this POC right now, um, yeah, it starts to look okay. We do have, yeah, for me, any invalidation on a long position would be just down at these lows now. stock market looking awful. I'll take a look at that in a second. Does VWAP work well for alts or more of a tool for BTC? I've noticed it working really well on some altcoins. I know Link, it works really well on, obviously Ethereum, there's a lot of liquidity there. So VWAP's good on certain altcoins. But yeah, it's mainly what I use for Bitcoin. I mean, I don't trade alts all that often anyway. And I certainly don't like day trade them, so not that much unless there's like proper momentum and things are trending. So yeah, VWAP mainly is a Bitcoin being the main thing that I do trade on a day trading basis. Uh, Delirium 100 BTC is only 3.5 million. That's peanuts on Bybit, right? Yeah, I mean, it's a very low liquidity exchange, so that's why we did have a big wick up on um, Bitstamp. So if we are going to look at this as a deviation from the range, what we just had, then prices really got to start getting some support around here. Otherwise, we are going to make, again, we're just going to continue this higher low, lower low. I mean, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low kind of situation. So we'll see if this can get a bit of continuation higher. Again, if we do come up into VWAP, that's going to be looking for a short opportunity for me. And then I'll be looking at the weekend low to be holding as support afterwards. So yeah, that's pretty much my plan at the moment. It has held this little mini POC here, so we are getting that slight bounce from here. Okay, so we came straight into the POC from just this as being a very large, well, relatively large deviation of the weekend range. So again, see if this can hold. Catalin Stefani is trying to tell us that VWAP traders are getting wrecked within the last few weeks. Well, I can give you two today that have worked so far. So I mean, there's one, there's two. Session VWAP. You hit session VWAP, your invalidation being a prior swing high. 1, 2 trades, easy, massive profit. Okay, so if you're trading the VWAP, you're certainly not getting wrecked. And I can go back onto previous days as well if we must. All right, let's have a look at the stock market. I mean, nothing too. Where are we at here? So we're getting a similar kind of thing on stocks, right? At least locally. So we are in that 786 to 83 region on here. We do also have, we're below that POC, just coming into another high volume node on here. And you'd say that's pretty much everything from, where was the final little gap. I think it's filled everything on. I mean, no, it hasn't. So we are still looking at this. We do still have to be aware that there is this gap down here on the SPX. So stock markets, there is still this gap region. So if prices come down to around that 43.60, did it come down that low? 43.60? Pretty much, yeah. It came to 4,370. So there could be a little bit more downside here on the stock market. Of course, we do have a big weekly level here coming in at 4,328. So there is support here on stocks. Again, it's had such a major move down. If this is going to continue falling, then we're looking at like really, really, really serious kind of crash here. But yeah, overall, there is support within this region, and locally, kind of locally, it's trying like Bitcoin is this market structure of just so far today being downtrend has been broken at least locally, but I mean you've already had a good little bounce from that of yeah, a good 0.6%, which on the SPX is pretty significant. So yeah, we could be seeing this start to roll over again and put in another low, coming back down towards where that gap is, around when, well, we've got 3 hours until the New York market opens now. So yeah. But yeah, Bitcoin's still holding this little mini point of control. Okay, so still holding there. There's not great risk to reward if you want to be taking a long. That's the issue I have at the moment. There's not, because if you're taking a long position right now, you're looking up towards VWAP. That's not even going to give you a one-to-one. So this is what I mean about kind of taking the trades that are high enough quality. Yes, you could take a trade and you could maybe, okay, if you lose VWAP, lose point of control and come back down below here, you could just set a stop loss and you're looking back up towards these areas. But yeah, overall, I mean, you can get a one-to-one out of it if you want to just, if you're looking at that as a kind of trade, it's there. There's certainly been a mini sign of strength. Let's see if it can get some continuation and see if it can hold back up here again now. Let's go back on to, let's put this onto normal candles. So we did see Binance stepping in at the lows. And actually we did see Bybit start stepping at the lows there. Okay. Interesting. I'll try and clean this up a bit. All right. Can you please check Pitchfork modified? Start from previous all-time high 65, low 28 to high 69. We are at the very bottom. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Pitchforks on a high time frame. If you have a chart for it or something and you're in the Discord, I mean, feel free to post it and I can take a look at it. But I'm not gonna draw it on myself. It's not something that I trade personally. I don't like, not a particular fan of pitchforks. But yeah, it's interesting if we are down at the bottom of that. It's just for me not enough. Like you can't take a trade off of that. You've just got to like I like to look at price action and order flow. So, but yeah, I'd be interested to take a look for sure if you do have a chart and you want to paste it. JMAP had 6 longs. Yeah, so of course, so you can still take long positions in a downtrend. You can trade against the trend. That's one thing I do really like to do. So I do like to take scalps against the trend. I like to take scalp shorts when things are moving up. I like to take scalp longs when things are moving down. So here we go. We're going to look at getting this move down again now, maybe here. So you can see price being held up within this region. So this being a buy wall that was put up, now that's turning into, you've got this kind of flip to the ask side, so you do have a sell wall just above us. Are we starting to look at this retracing down and starting to come back into lower levels again? That'd be interesting. But again, that change of behavior that you saw at the lows, now we're getting that at the highs. So just holding price up, possibly filling short positions again before forcing price lower. NM, it's on Bitcoin TA posted. Cool, thank you. I'll take a look at that. Okay, yeah, so we've come down right to the bottom of it. I mean, that's the thing, like, I find these kind of things interesting. So you've anchored it high, low, high. Yeah, it's interesting. I guess basically what we're drawing just here is kind of the start of maybe a longer term channel, but for something that's tradable, I mean, you'd be waiting a long time to hit the bottom of it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not something, again, like I say, is the most tradable for me. Uh, yeah. Yeah, really interesting to see anyway. Thank you for sharing. The ME gap from July almost filled. Let's have a look at this. So again, obviously we did have that move up to fill the CME gap from Friday. So you can see here we have our open, we moved immediately up, and it was a really easy kind of, yeah, being able to take a short position here and being in massive profit again after that. So if we zoom out, so we do have a gap from back in July then. Yes, here. So there is this one. So we've almost come down to that level. Okay, so that would be the final like inefficiency within, well, from last year that we'd be looking at. So if we're just looking at, yeah, last year's price action, this is the last inefficiency we really have on the chart here. Otherwise, we're going back down towards the year before 2020, where we do have this big gap up that is takes us all the way down to around 23k. So I mean, anything's possible. We do have to be aware of that, but yeah. So there is this final little gap that we do have on the chart here. And then unfortunately above us, not really anything. Okay. I mean, we've kind of come back and filled everything. So we've not gapped down significantly over a weekend. This whole move down. So it's all happened during the week. I mean, you could kind of say there's one up here, but yeah, not too significant at all. All right. Basketballs, do you hold any Bitcoin or you purely just trade the movements? No, I hold Bitcoin and I trade the inverse perpetual as well. So, yeah, unfortunately, like my spot positions are getting hammered just as much as anyone else's at the moment, but I mean, that's fine. I trade, generally speaking, I trade alts against USDT and I trade Bitcoin inverse. Um, maybe I'll reevaluate that at some point if we do go through kind of something much more bearish, but I'm always happy to hold Bitcoin. It's not a big deal for me that the price is going down. As long as I have more Bitcoin now than I did when the price was at 65k, 69k, then I'm happy. All right. Cool. Well, I think I might wrap it up in a minute anyway. I was only planning on doing a video this morning. I thought I would just hop on to do a quick stream just as we had got some price action. If we do get any more kind of major movements or anything, then I will probably be able to jump back onto a stream later on today. But yeah, I think that probably is enough from me for the morning. I think that covers everything. Anything else that we need to be looking at? Not really. So I also just for people who are asking about the what I'm using. So this is ExoCharts. Okay, so I am using ExoCharts. This is just the web version. The desktop version is quite different. So this is ExoCharts. These are different things that I'm looking at here, which give us kind of different visual ways to look at the charts and different things to trade off of this. So looking at ExoCharts here, this here is Trading Light. Okay, so I think this is what people are asking about, the black and orange color platform. Yeah, this is Trading Light. So what we're looking at here, whereas on ExoCharts, we're looking at all the market orders. So we're looking at actual kind of order flow coming in, what the market makers are doing, what is moving the market. On here, we're looking mainly at limit. So we're seeing where the buy walls are, where the sell walls are, where the kind of intent is to move the market towards. So we can see here, sell walls being put up quite a lot. Okay, so we're looking at almost 1,000 Bitcoin up there. Looking to be sold on the FTX exchange around about that 34,300 and just above region, which would give us confluence around when we do think about the VWAP coming down. So if we are to look at this VWAP coming down into price, we are looking at a pretty good region there. I mean, actually, that's kind of, yeah, just within this little area here. So yeah, we do have significant sell orders around about, well, here, um, which could give us confluence again. That's kind of looking back at where we had previous support, right? Back over the weekend. So yeah, these are the platforms that I'm using. So Trading Light here, ExoCharts, and then just looking at TradingView. I also use AgriTrade, which is really nice just for looking at these, like kind of watching the tape and just watching everything as it comes in. And yeah, as a quick final summary, I mean, I'm I'm willing to look for long positions. So my short-term plan is to see is scalps. Okay, so I can scalp this either way. My short-term plan is scalps. I mean, if we come up into VWAP, I'm looking for short positions. If we can then hold around this region, I'd be looking for long positions. So that's my short-term plan, is really just kind of watching the order flow and just kind of scalping in and out really quickly. My longer-term plan, and this is what I do really want to see, is I do want to see divergences start to form here. And we are getting them. We are going to have them. I mean, price would have to really, really just, you would be looking at another 10% down or so for these divergences not to form. So it's getting towards that area where the 4-hour chart starts to look a lot more decent. Okay, I can just turn this back onto candles, just so you can see. So what I'm really wanting is 4-hour closes below these ones. So we do have 4-hour closes here below 34k, basically 34k, 34,500. What that will lead to is you see your RSI coming into here. Maybe we get a bounce off of this and continue. We see this MACD kind of roll over, and then maybe that gets divergence starting to form. So I do like the RSI and the MACD on the 4-hour chart. It is something that I do trade very regularly, and it does work on the macro highs and it works on the macro lows as well. So 4-hour MACD and RSI starting to look as though they could form these divergences here. I'd like to see some 4-hour closes down within that area. If we can start to hold, so if this low can hold, so if this, well, basically 33k can hold, and we hang around between 34 and 33k, I'm absolutely willing to start cautiously scaling into long positions, because we do have the higher time frames that then start to give us something kind of significant. I mean, this is the first time we've had this. First time we've had this since we were back at 40k, and we did have a pretty decent move up. Of course, we did have that wick down, but we did have a pretty decent move up of around 12% ish from there. But this looking much more significant for me. Again, up at the highs, we were getting these divergences at the highs, the same as we're getting them down here at the lows. And it does make sense, okay? You've got the last little CME gap on the chart. You've got stock markets coming into areas of support, possibly. You've got these MPOCs that have been filled. So we are at an area of local support, but you've just got to, trade what the chart's giving you. And for me, bear market kind of stuff is you just want to be in and out, in and out, in and out. And if you're holding anything, it's going to be holding short positions rather than kind of hoping the longs will, hoping that the chart reverses and longs are going to pay off. So yeah, I think that's overall my recap. That's basically what I'm looking for. Levels lower if we are going to go lower. I'm just not so much looking at them. Yes, I am very keen to see. Okay, yeah, levels lower. It would be the gap down here, and it would be the MPOCs on Binance and FTX. The monthly MPOCs on Binance and FTX. We do have the daily MPOCs down there as well. So there's so many levels below. But for me, it's more about just waiting for which one is the one that actually reverses us. It's unlikely that we'll catch it unless it's a scalp trade. And then maybe that scalp can turn into a swing. Okay, so I think that just about covers it. Basketballs, do we have bear div? I assume you mean maybe CBD? No. Unless it's really local. Yeah, we're not looking at any bearish divergence or anything. We actually had a little bit of bullish CVD down at those lows. So you see here, price continuing down lower, a lack of interest from sellers down there, and then we get that little reversal underway. That's interesting. And then Liquid saying there's no way this continues down to 30k. I mean, you can never say never. Like we were down 12. Like the only reason price stopped on Friday is because CME hit the limit. Like it couldn't go any further down. It literally hit the brakes just as it closed. And I mean, we could have had a lot more carnage on Friday if it wasn't for exchanges kind of stopping that. So yeah, there's absolutely no reason why we can't continue to crash lower. But yes, it's crazy. Like, we've gone down a long way, and we are starting to build those divergences here. So yeah. All right, thank you everyone. If you haven't already hit the like button, just please do hit that, and I will catch everyone later on. Yeah, I'll see you all